Hello, welcome again to another edition of The Road Ahead. I'm Jacqueline Proctor, Deputy Commissioner for the Bureau of Senior Services, and the Bureau hosts this monthly show for you. We look forward to spending time with you. We look forward to sharing new ideas and information with you, and we are delighted today to have a guest with us that we've not had before, and we're going to share a lot of things that you can do individually, you can do with your grandchildren, you can do as a group. But just in case you don't know about this group, let me introduce you to Jill Upson. She is the director of the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, and she's also a former delegate from Jefferson County.
That's correct.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Good, thank you. I'm excited to have you. So let's just start off giving the audience a general view of what the Herbert Henderson Office is about.
Okay, so the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs was created in 2012, and we serve West Virginia's underserved populations. And so what does that look like? That includes both racial and ethnic minorities. That includes people who are re-entering society, our LGBTQ population. It includes senior citizens, veterans, just every single historically underserved group is who we reach out to.
Wonderful. And in terms of its initial setup in 2012, I can hardly believe it seems so long ago, but the effort then was to make sure that people understood there were resources through your office that they could utilize. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that's probably the biggest effort that I'm tasked with, is to get out into the state and to make sure that people are aware of the government services that are available to them. And so one of the things that we do, and it's a part of state code, is we do what's called listening tours. And so every year we get out into all throughout West Virginia. I typically will choose the counties based on whether or not I've been there before, which at this point it's getting to be where I've gone to almost all of them. And we also look at the population demographics of the particular county when we decide where we're going to go. And once we go there, we have a morning session. We visit a senior center, and the senior citizens come out and they hear about the services and programs and events that the Herbert Henderson office does, but it also gets to hear from our traveling partners, which does include the West Virginia Bureau of Senior Services. Absolutely, yay. And so people get to learn about a lot of the programs that they are not aware of. And so again, that is the biggest thing that I am tasked with, because you hear it over and over again. People will say, I didn't know that that was available to me.
Right.
And I'll give you one recent example, just because it's so recent, it springs into my mind. There was a lady who reached out to the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, and she was really distraught because she had maxed out on her transportation benefit for her health insurance for the year, and wanted to continue with her cancer treatments and didn't want to wait another 3 months until the new calendar year began. And one of our partners that travels with us, I just happened to remember, was the Tiger Morton Catastrophic Illness Commission, and they were able to pick up and stand in that gap for that 3-month window and to provide the transportation services to her for 3 months so she could continue and not have to stall on her cancer treatments. And so those are the types of services that we like to get out and to talk to people about, because you don't know that you need it if you never need it.
Right.
And so, of course, my hope and prayer would be that people would not need that type of service, but it's just the reassurance of knowing that it does exist if they or a family member ever needs it.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because as you know, we spoke about it on the phone, and we talked about how can we get her some assistance, or what would be the best agency or group within state government to help her. And it was amazing how quickly it came together, and it was very important, as you said, because of the critical nature. She couldn't do without her treatments for 3 months, and it was sort of a desperate feeling, and we really wanted to help her. So you followed through on that beautifully, and
Thank you.
and I thank you for doing that. Plus, I also thank you for, even though you're requested, mandated to do it, I love joining you on those speaking tours, those listening tours.
Yes.
Because we really do get to be in front of everyday people and tell them about what the Bureau offers, what constituent services is all about, and what the Department of Agriculture is about, so on and so forth. And the seniors are somewhat familiar, but as you said, they always say, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I hadn't heard of that. When did this come about? And they're always so surprised. But the good feeling is that we've shared that with them, and now they know. They're better educated about what's available.
Yes, yes. And when there are resources available, the last thing that you ever want to see is for those needs to go unmet.
Yes.
And it's sad. And I remember during COVID, unfortunately, there were a lot of resources that were available to people that just remained on the table because people didn't apply for them, didn't know where to go, where to look, or who to ask. And so, as I said, it's a big job, but I'm happy to do it and happy to partner with you on it.
Well, thank you for that. I'm happy to partner with you as well. And again, it is so critical to try to get information out, not just to seniors, which of course I'm particularly fond of, but to all citizens because of the rural nature of our state. Sometimes it can feel a little disconnected,
Yes.
but yours is the kind of office, along with other bureaus, but yours is the kind of office that really does do outreach well and works hard on it every year. So we applaud you for that.
Well, I thank you for saying that. Thanks.
For sure. So share with us a little bit. I mean, there's tons of things, so we don't have to rush through them. In fact, we might not get to all of your important points, but tell us a little bit about what else is encompassed under the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs. I know, again, you and I have a working relationship, professional relationship through the MLK Commission, but tell us about some of the other groups that you work with in particular, like the Women's Commission.
So I do, actually that's one of my other hats that I have is Executive Director of the West Virginia Women's Commission. But even before I took on that role, I worked closely with the Women's Commission. And so for events like Women and Girls Day, and what that is that we bring in fact, this last year we had about 230 girls come, middle and high school girls, and they are exposed to the legislative process. And so we take them to both the House session and the Senate session. We give them a great lunch, and then we let them talk about the issues that are important to them as they are the next generation. And that is probably the most valuable part of Women and Girls Day, is letting the girls themselves use their voices to talk about things that matter to them. And just like with the listening tour, you don't know until you get into these communities and hear from people. And the same thing applies to the younger generation. They have very specific concerns, very specific needs, and I really enjoy doing that event because it gives the girls, just a real life visual of what their lives can be like as a future leader in the state. So I encourage them to consider running for office, to consider working in state government. And so in addition to the West Virginia Women's Commission, I am also on the West Virginia Women's Suffrage Memorial, which we talked a little bit about before we started this show today. And we are getting a new monument on the grounds of the West Virginia State Capitol, and it will be in honor of West Virginia women who really worked and fought for the women's right to vote.
Do you ever sleep? I'm just kidding. I'm sure not much maybe, but all of your waking hours are very valuable and you put them to very good use. The thing you do with Women and Girls Day, I think, again, is so valuable in terms of, and you stated it, but I love to say it again, and that is demonstrating to young ladies that they do have a voice and they can use that voice in a very positive and effective manner. And as a former delegate, you most certainly are standing right there in front of them as a perfect role model of someone who decided that they could do more in their community and they wanted to do more, so they ran for office.
Yes, absolutely. And it's tough because it's still, if you look at the current makeup of the legislature, it's still predominantly male. But it was, our government was designed that we would have a citizens legislature. So you don't have to be a political science major. You don't have to be an attorney. We want everyone from all walks of life to throw their hat in the ring because their perspectives are needed. You don't want just a singular approach, a singular viewpoint when you're making policy. And so I will always encourage girls and women to run for office.
Great, great. Well, okay, I'm all excited now. So let me not veer too far away from, my population dear to my heart, the seniors. Tell me a bit about, I know there are a couple of major events that your office oversees as well, and they are perfect family events.
Yes.
So tell us a little about that.
So the biggest event that we have throughout the year is our Juneteenth celebration. And that is a cultural event where we inform people about what Juneteenth is. At this point, most people know what Juneteenth is, but it is a holiday that has been celebrated since 1865, when the last remaining slaves were informed that they had been, in fact, free for about 2.5 years. And a huge celebration broke out, and with music and dancing. And so I kind of patterned my Juneteenth event after that original celebration. Now that it's celebrated across the country and it is a national holiday, people do all sorts of Juneteenth events, but if you come to the Juneteenth event at the Capitol, what you're going to find is bounce houses for children. We've got a great vendor. She brings soft play for just crawlers. You're going to hear about 4 or 5 hours of West Virginia talented musicians. Everything from, we've had baton twirlers to vocalists to just plain average musicians. We just put on a fantastic show, and lots of food vendors and people who bring their crafts to sell. And so it's just a really happy festival type of event that we have every single June, usually the Saturday before the actual Juneteenth holiday. So I would encourage anyone who's watching your program to mark their calendars for Saturday, June 15th, 2025. All ages are welcome. Sometimes people bring out their lawn chairs and they just sit there and listen to the concert. I actually have a relative who comes in with her husband from Ohio every single year, and she just sits there because she likes music and enjoys the day. But if there are young ones, they are certainly welcome, and there will be lots of things for them to do as well.
That's again, when do you sleep? But no, there's a lot of planning that goes into that, I know, and you have some incredible music acts as well as local, as you said, local musicians. It is really a tremendous day. So yes, I would encourage viewers of this program to also put that on their calendar and be sure to come. Since you already gave us the date, now we know, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we do try to feature, we put out a call for West Virginia talent. So typically, if there's talent there, we will give them a spot in the production. And I'm just always so impressed by the talent that we have in the state. And I listen to some of these bands and musicians, and I'm just like, man, they could be performing anywhere. But they are here at the Capitol doing a free public event. All of the events that we do are absolutely free, and I'm just always impressed by it. Now, we do cap the program with a national artist every year. I cannot announce yet who this year's headlining act will be, but we've had some good ones. We've had Drew Hill, we've had who have we had? We had High Five, an R&B group. So we really do get some good, solid headliners to provide entertainment for people.
So not only do you run the office, but you're also a talent booker. Many, many talents here in front of me. I'm just continue to be impressed. Tell us a bit about yet another aspect of what the Herbert Henderson office oversees and helps to support, and that is the MLK Commission, the Martin Luther King State Holiday Commission. Long title, but very important work. Tell me, share with our audience, if you don't mind, why it's critical to have a commission like that, and some of the things we start to do, because I can share with that too.
Okay, so here's where it becomes awkward, because you are the expert. I mean, that is absolutely your area of expertise, but it has been such an honor to serve on that commission with you since I've been here since 2018. And it's a critical function of the government because it keeps the work that he did alive, and it informs people who aren't familiar with his history and how important it was and how it was able to absolutely change the direction of our entire country. And he did it in a nonviolent way. And I think when you're looking at all of the unrest around the world that we see now, you know, just turn on the news or scroll through your social media for 5 minutes and you're going to see turmoil and unrest. And so to have someone like Martin Luther King, who was able to do so much and affect so much change just in the hearts and minds of people from a policy perspective, and to do so using nonviolence is just remarkable.
It is remarkable. One of the things I love, thank you for the compliment, but we all pull that rope together. But one of the things I really do love, one of the aspects is, and you touched on it when you talked about the Women's and Girls event at the Capitol, is our impact or how the youth impacts us, because they're two significant events that are part of that whole recognition and celebration, and that is the poster art contest, and then the writing, poetry, and musical performance section of the contest that is run very well, and a lot of information is put together by the Wheeling YM or W, probably both.
YWCA.
Yes, and the director there is really so instrumental. He's part of our group to get the word out. And then, of course, we have Dr. Patricia Wilson, who's now retired from West Virginia State, but has been on the commission for a very long time. I won't say how many years, because I don't want her to be upset with me later. But it's incredible, the insight and the history that she brings to us when we have our meetings and talk about things to do. So I'd like you to, we do have a lovely thing on the coffee table right now, and I'd like you to share that with our audience. So with regards to the poster contest, we do have these students every year who do a piece based on that year's theme. So I'll throw it to you.
And so this particular calendar, it talks about, you know, what the commission does and what the theme was for the contest, but we had 13 submissions who won. And so we took those winning submissions and we made them into a 2025 calendar. And so we are going to do this every single year with the winning entries from the poster contest. And so if there are people who did not win or people who have never entered, I think this will really motivate them to be on a state calendar for an entire year.
Right.
And we tried to make sure that it would be a good keepsake quality calendar with the spiral bound days there, so that the parents and the grandparents can have this for a long time to come. But you can see that the students' interpretation of the theme for the year is very different. And so again, I would just encourage people to watch our Facebook page and to watch our website, minorityAffairs.wv.gov, for the deadlines. And so these contests are currently open for people to enter. And I believe it's December, I don't want to get the date wrong, but it's coming up soon.
It's coming up.
The deadline for that. So if there are students K through 12, whether or not they are public school students, homeschool students, private school students, all students, as long as they are West Virginia students, are open to entering that contest.
I mean, that it is phenomenal when you think of it, and it's just one aspect of everything that is done with regards to celebrating Dr. King's life and legacy. But that in particular makes me happy, puts a big smile on my face, because the children hear his words and understand the words and then interpret them back to us in their artistic expression.
Right, and it causes them to think deeply about his words and about his work, because then they have to take that and create art with it. And so in addition to the art contest, we also have the film and song contest. And we've had people come in and play an acoustic guitar and sing an original song that they've written. We had one young man that wrote the most amazing rap and performed it at the Culture Center. And of course the lyrics were, perfectly appropriate for the contest. And it shows you the kind of creativity that we get from these contests. And then the one short film entries, the same thing. The kids just come up with the most phenomenal ideas for how they want to present their interpretation on MLK.
Again, just such veins of talent in our state.
Yes.
And when they bubble up, they're so exciting to see.
It is
it's
exciting.
Really wonderful. So, okay, I could go on about that. But the other aspect of that I wanted to just share, too, with the audience is that it is a family affair. And when we have the presentation of both the recognition of the winners of the poster contest, the recognition of the winners of the other groups, we do have a nice luncheon, and families come in, and the grandparents are there, and the kids are so excited. And I've never seen family members even more excited because their child is being recognized.
It is, and a lot of the kids have to come from far away to come to this event, but it is a packed out event every single year. And it's not just because we give them a nice luncheon, it's because I think people really enjoy showcasing the children's talent, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to elevate them, we want to feature them. We send the program to public broadcast so that it can be aired on television, and it's just really an exciting event, and we do invite all of the winners and their families, again, free of charge, to come and enjoy a Saturday at the Capitol, watching their winners present their art or read their essays or perform their songs. So
does my heart good. Does my heart good. Well, I know that there are a few other aspects of the office, and we do have some time, but I did want you to touch on them. I didn't want to monopolize everything with MLK, although we could, because there's a lot that goes into that. I would like to remind the viewers that the activities for 25 will be just a little different because we will be experiencing the inauguration of a new governor, and the legislature's date gets set back about 30 days before that, but we will still be incorporated and be a part of all of that, so we can honor and respect Dr. King. So I just wanted to mention that. Did I leave out anything in terms of what we might do?
No, I think you're right to say that it's going to be a little bit different, and then we can get back to the way that we have done it in years past, going forward. But yeah, the inaugural ceremonies and all the things that are happening with an incoming administration does make it a little bit tricky. So we will probably do a couple virtual aspects this year, but for the awards presentations, those will absolutely go forward in person as we've always done them.
Yes, great, wonderful. I love seeing those shiny faces, just get all excited. So, not to digress, but what other aspects of the Herbert Henderson office, I know you do other outreach events, and I believe some of them are health related. So what other aspects of the office in terms of outreach and in terms of programs to elevate the awareness of our fellow citizens would be something you'd like to mention that's appropriate for seniors or adults who are raising their grandchildren?
Well, I will mention that most of the programs are not run out of the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, but we do provide those resources and linkages to the agencies that run the actual programs. And one of our, listening to our partners is the Office of Minority Health. And so throughout the year, they will invite us to participate with them in outreach events that they are doing, where we will go and set up a table. We also do a number of sponsorships as an agency, which we're very fortunate to be in a position to be able to do that. So if there are smaller community-based nonprofits that are doing events, whether or not they're cultural events or festival-style events, or, health outreach events, we definitely offer sponsorships. One of the most recent sponsorships that the office did was for what's called Loteria Night, and it was for Hispanic Heritage Month. And so that was held up in Martinsburg, West Virginia, and Loteria Night is basically just a game night that is a traditional Hispanic event. And it was their first year doing it, and so we were able to do a very modest sponsorship, but it allowed them to have the entire, event with prizes and everything. And so that is another aspect of the office. And so if there are people who are affiliated with nonprofits that would like some help with resources, we can sometimes offer that. As far as the other events go, another cultural event that we did that was better than anything we could have imagined was the first year ever of our Filipino American heritage.
Oh, okay.
Who knew the world loves Filipino food?
I've tasted some. It's good. It's good.
So we had about 1,000 people for our very first event in October. It was October, I think, 19th, which was a Saturday, and it was supposed to start at 1 o'clock. So I arrived about 15 minutes to 1, and the line was already wrapped around the Lincoln Monument waiting to get lumpia.
Wow.
From one of the food vendors. And then we had another food vendor who said it was like every Filipino's worst fear that they would run out of food, and they ran out of food.
Oh, gosh.
But in addition to the great, cultural food that was available to people, again, we had craft vendors very similar to Juneteenth. They also sold out of some of the items that they were selling. And then, of course, just the beautiful, the dress and the dances, the fan dance, and so all of those things were performed. We did a march from the Culture Center to the steps of the Capitol where we lined up and had the Filipino and American flag, and someone sang the national anthem, and then another person sang the Filipino anthem. And it was just such a beautiful cultural day. And so we're trying to expand each year and bring in more cultural events as the Office of Minority Affairs to show that we're welcoming and serving of people of all cultures.
Oh, my goodness. I won't even say it. I know you sleep sometimes, but I won't even say it. You rest sometimes. I don't think I could have captured it better in terms of what you just closed with in terms of the Filipino Festival, because it is amazing to me. I forget sometimes that there is a diverse number of groups in the state. They may be small, but they are here, and they contribute so well to our state overall, to the communities that they're based in, to our understanding of just our fellow human being. So I'm very appreciative that this office in particular brings that out, and it does it not only on a cultural level, but a community level, which incorporates everyone from age 1 to age 91, if necessary. So that's really great. I'm going to give you 15 more seconds, if you don't mind, just to tell me why or how, not why, how you would describe the office in a nutshell, really quickly.
How I would describe the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, I would describe it as an outreach hub for minority populations. We are a very small agency. We've got 2 of us. And when you asked if I ever sleep, that's why I say not much, but I am the luckiest state employee you will ever meet to be able to do what I do.
That is perfect, right there, the luckiest state employee. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for being with us here on The Road Ahead. See you next time.